Hola! Welcome. Welcome to third episode of the Flip the Switch podcast. For those people in the challenge.
Yep.
It's already week 2.
I don't know that you can do that.
I did it.
What if I'm not in the challenge? What if I'm not in the 6-week switch?
You should go check out the 6-week switch.
I know I should, but then it's not week 2 for me.
I went up there and they haven't checked it out. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, it's go to switchfit.me, check out that challenge, check out what we do. If you're watching us on Facebook, look at some of the stuff going on. Look at some of the stuff we're posting, and you'll start seeing some of the results that are coming out of this, because it's pretty wild right now.
Yeah, 1 weekend, people are down 6-7 pounds already.
Right, and there's a couple people that are with us that used our program for a while now, and some of the results that 8 weeks in, 9 weeks in, and they're golly.
I know.
It's crazy what some of these people are accomplishing.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. Getting close to these people hopping on. Welcome as you hop on. Make sure you shoot us comments if you're watching us live.
You're not excited for this, are you?
I'm always excited. Hey! Noon o'clock. Welcome to the Flip the Switch podcast. I'm your host. I'm Luke, and my co-host is Jake here. And in our Flip the Switch podcast, we are going to go through a bunch of different tools, topics, concepts, stuff like that. Every single week, each episode, we're going to bring you something different, right? We're going to bring you something different to transform your life, transform your mind, transform your body, do tons of transformation. And each week it's going to be something different. And we're going to keep going through this, and we're going to make sure that we keep improving people around us and inspiring the people around us, because that is our number one job. And with this podcast, I just want to make one thing clear. We've talked about this. This podcast, we do this completely free, right? We put this out on Spotify. We put this out. There's other places that carry our podcast. We do this live on Facebook. So if you're not watching us live on Facebook, go to our Facebook page for Switch Fitness to watch us live on Facebook. But we do this thing for free. And the only thing that we ask from people is, if there's anything at all that you take out of this, that's positive, anything that you're going to use to change yourself, anything you think that anybody else could get out of this, tell people about it. Share this podcast with people, right? Share it on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, share it on Facebook. Spotify, share it from Spotify. Tell the world about it. Tell people about it. Tell people what we're doing. Yes, you can donate. Yes, we're going to make the world better with anything that we get as far as funds and stuff like that. And we give back to the people around us. But just share the podcast. That's all we ask. Share it with people so we can help change the world little by little. And if you ever get into a situation, our specialty, we work with the human body, we work with the brain, right? We work with the mind. We do all these different things. And, this podcast is designed because we realize that, our mindset is the most important thing that we have and the thing that's going to change everything. But if you run into a situation where you're ready to make a change physically and you want to lose weight, you want to get healthier, you want to improve your body, come find us at switchfit.me, because I tell you what, we can help you. And the results are crazy and what we do is crazy. And all BS aside, we got the program that can change your life. So that is what I got for you to start. So Jake, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited. You were just talking about Switch Fit and talking about the 6-week switch, and we're in our second week of doing it. Just got the results in from the first week, and people are down 5, 6, 7 pounds, 2, 3, 4 inches in 1 week. When I get to wake up every day and do that for people,
right.
Life's good, baby.
Right.
That. And in addition to that, this week, I get to go live every Wednesday starting this week. I get to go live and do a free workout with everybody on this page, right, and give them tips and ways to change their workouts. I couldn't be better.
Yeah, the thing is too, when we get to do the things that we do, right? people talk about alarm clocks and snooze buttons and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know when the last time was my alarm clock actually went off. I really don't. I have no clue the last time my alarm clock went off, because it is that fun and it is that inspiring with what we do, and I just can't wait to do it every single day, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
I do. I mean, my alarm clock went off this morning because I have a brand new puppy, but you better turn the alarm on, otherwise you're going to wake up to things you don't like. But no, I get what you're saying.
All right, so this episode, this concept for this week, this is a foundational piece for us right here, right? So this is a big one for us, and this foundational piece, this is something that it can make or break you in all areas of your life. It can do a lot of different things for you if you're not ready for it, right? And this is something that there's a lot of people that struggle with this, and it's led to them being in the situation that they're in right now, and that's why it's one of our foundational pieces. That's why it's one of the things that we attack right away, and one of the things that we hold in such high regard, which is why it's the third episode, which is why it's not the 10th episode or the 30th episode, which is why it's the third episode. So what we're talking about is becoming a person, a disciplined person, right? Becoming somebody that is a person of discipline. So, Jay, what does becoming a disciplined person mean to you?
Well, I think, and you know how much I like Inky Johnson. Mm-hmm. If you haven't checked him out, Inky Johnson, great motivational speaker, great story. But he has a quote that really, I think, sums up what discipline is to me. And he calls it, basically what he says is, doing what you said you would do long after the feeling that you said it in is gone. And that, to me, is what discipline is, because it's when you do something because you're motivated and you're excited, that's not discipline, right? That's being motivated and excited. That's going off your emotions, right? But discipline is, Inky calls it commitment. I'm calling it discipline. It's doing what you said you would do. So you made this decision. You know what? Diet starts Monday. I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to start, or I'm going to stop smoking on Monday, or whatever on Monday, right? You had this thing that happened to you over the weekend, and all of a sudden you got excited. You're ready for change. You know what? I'm changing. Enough's enough. You watched a movie. You saw a speaker. You whatever, right? But enough's enough. I'm going to do it. Well, taking action in that moment, that's not discipline. Mm-hmm. Taking action still on Monday, that's discipline. Taking action still on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, regardless of how you feel, that's discipline. So regardless of how you feel, doing what you said you would do, that's discipline, right? That, to me, in a nutshell, is what it is. Regardless of how you feel, you said, or you know, right? It takes what it takes. You know that this is required to get this thing done. It doesn't matter how I feel. My feelings are relevant. I'm human, so I have emotions. I'm human, so I have feelings. We all do. I have them too. But the ability to say, it does not matter how I feel, it matters what I want, and then following through on it, that's discipline. That's what discipline is. And it's hard. It's hard as hell. There is nothing, I think, harder to do than be a disciplined person. Right? It is harder than hell, but it is so damn important. And I'll tell you what, I've worked with a lot of disciplined people, and dude, you have your faults, right? You have a lot of them, right? I have a lot of them. Should I say that? A ton.
Okay, I think you hit the point. I think you hit the point.
But one of your biggest strengths is your discipline. Mm-hmm. One of the things I admire so much about you, which is not much, I don't admire much about you, but the things that I do admire, one of the biggest things I do admire is your discipline. And I'm going to flip it back to you now. Mm-hmm. And because you asked me, what does it mean to me? I want to ask you, because you're somebody, and you know, people can say what they want about you, and I'll say a lot of bad things about you, but people can say what they want about you, but you do things on purpose. The things that are important to you are important to you, and you make sure and do them. And obviously this discipline thing is not an accident. Right. It's not an accident. You're doing it on purpose. So if you're that disciplined, then it must be important to you. So why in the hell are you so disciplined? Why is discipline so important to you? And why would we sit here and have a podcast about how important it is to have discipline and how to have discipline? Mm-hmm. How does it help me, you, anyone else in all of these transformations? Why is discipline such a key component? Why is it so important? And why is it so important to you?
Yeah, so there's, I think the big thing that I always looked at is you have to get really clear on the things that are working against you already and the things that are going to work against you, right? Mm-hmm. And, it's really why discipline is so important and why I hold in such high regard. The first thing you got around you, right? And if you think about it, it's everywhere, is you have other people around you, right? And, no matter what we want to say, no matter how we want to look at those other people and say, man, they're my best friends, man, I have this group of people, whatever it is. I'm telling you right now that human beings as a group, they are 100% a bucket of crabs. 100% a bucket of crabs.
See, this is why I make fun of you, because you just called everyone a bucket of crabs.
A bucket of crabs. And they don't intend to do it, but that's how humans work. So, and what I mean by that is they look at wherever you are, right? You have your group, and you generally are in a group, a community of some sort, because you have things in common. And, we all have our faults, we all have our positives, we all have our negatives, but we all have the things that we want to do, right? We look at it and we want to do it. And those are our goals. But for us to go after a goal means we need to make a big change in our life. And the reason why I say that everybody is a bucket of crabs is because crabs do the same thing. If you take crabs and you throw them in a bucket, in a container, we'll call it, right? And a crab says, hey, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to go get out of this bucket, right? I see the outside, I want to get out of this bucket, or I want to live, so I want to get out of this bucket. And this crab starts crawling up to get out of this bucket, gets to the edge of the bucket, goes to hop over the edge of the bucket. The rest of the crabs look up and say, you can't go nowhere, you're one of us. Pulls that crab back in, right? And this crab sits there and thinks a little while, hey, I want to do this. I really want to do this, and starts going back out. Gets to the top, right? Ready to hop off. Those crabs pull that crab back in again, and this time, rather than just pull them in, they rip that crab's leg off. That way the crab can't go anywhere. So now the crab has no legs and it sits in one spot and can't get back upside. And humans are the same way. And you see it all the time because you have people inside of groups, right, that weight loss is one of them. And I'm sure there's a lot of people, anybody that's tried to lose weight is part of our program right now, or anybody, they've tried to do it before. Most people, this is not your first time trying to lose weight. You've tried to do it before, right? And you've taken steps to make sure you could do it before. You got your food ready. You told people about it. You got your water bottle. You got all this stuff, right? You started moving in the right direction. And the first time you went to a family gathering after that, somebody said, oh, it's just one day, have a couple cookies. And they pulled you right back in. Mm-hmm. They pulled you right back into who you were before. And then you said, no, I'm not doing that. And you started going back out there again, right? You said, I'm doing this. You saw that person again, and they pulled you back in with cookies, plus they loaded you up full of alcohol at the same time too. And they said, you're one of us. You got to come do this stuff. And they got you involved in the things that they're doing to keep you right there, because they feel like when you are making advancements in your life and when you're going anywhere, you're leaving them behind. Mm-hmm. They feel like you're leaving them behind. And because people don't want to feel neglected, people don't want to feel like they're getting pushed away, or they're getting left behind, rather than try to come with you on the journey, they're going to try to keep you there. And it's all because of their own feelings. So the first why behind why you need to be a person disciplined is you have all these people around you that, even though they don't realize that they're doing it all the time, or they have no real ill intention toward you, they don't want you to go anywhere. They feel like you're going to leave them behind if they get better. And you see this in relationships all the time. One person starts working on themselves and getting better, and the other person wants a divorce. Yep. Because of that.
So if I'm a disciplined crab, mm-hmm. In your crab analogy, so the crab is going to get pulled down by physical force in when it's an actual crab, but in your analogy, we're going to get pulled down by them telling us it's okay, by them pulling us back in. So if we are stronger in our mind and we're more disciplined in our mind, we can fight the crabs. Because like you said, they don't mean to do it, but we go to that party and now we have this mental armor on and we can stop them from pulling us down. We can stay disciplined to what we said we were going to do, even with their words coming at us, right?
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah, so if you want to think about it I'll give you a little version of this. I quit drinking over 4.5 years ago now, right? And I had a decision to make at that point. I want to be a better human being, and I want to be better for my family. I want to be better for everybody that was around me, right? I want to make more of an impact on this world. There's a lot of reasons why I should do it, right? And when I made the decision to do it, now I was left with, okay, now what? Like, what do I do? Do I try to avoid this all the time, or what do I do? And I said, heck no. I'm going to go put myself in these situations, and I'm going to make sure that I'm prepared for them. And if I got to do it little bits at a time just to make sure that I can get through it, I do it, right? Because I knew that I was never, ever going to get to a point where there was no crowds around me. There's always, and there still is.
Yeah.
There still is, and I still look at them every day and say, I'm not that person. That's not who I am. These are the things that I do now. And it's because I decided at that point to become a person of discipline when it came to that specific item.
Yeah.
So that's number one thing is understanding all the people around you. The second thing is understand that life's going to happen.
Yeah.
Life is going to happen. Breaking news. Breaking news that life is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Things are going to happen around you. Things you can't control either, right? It would be great if we can control everything around us, but we can't control. So life's going to happen. First thing you're going to have, and this is the easy way for people to look at it, right? Bad things happen to people, right?
Yeah.
Bad things happen to people. And there's big bad things that can happen to people, right? There's death, there's divorce, there's a lot of things. There's end of relationships. There's a lot of lose your job. We know about that.
They're big things.
There's big things that can happen, but there's also small things that can happen, right? Bad things that can happen that you get a flat tire.
You get sick.
You get stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Like, there's small things that if you're not a person disciplined, you're on your way to the gym. You want to lose weight and you're on your way to the gym. And you have this hour every single day set aside. And all of a sudden you get a flat tire and it takes you 30 minutes to change that flat tire. You now have a decision to make, right?
Yep.
Say, screw it when it comes to the gym, just go home, bail on your workout, or go make the most out of it inside the gym that you can.
Yep.
Person discipline says, I'm going to the gym no matter what, right?
Yep.
So you have the bad things, and the big bad things can happen too, that could throw you off. But, a person discipline says, well, the thing that I'm doing, the item that I'm doing right now is meant to make me a better person.
Right.
So I can't give this up.
Exactly.
So even though I'm going through something bad, I got to keep going. But then, so the bad is easy to look at.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the good.
Yeah.
There's also the good to look at, right? You get a promotion at work. You get married.
Mm-hmm.
You have children. You
get a new job.
There's a lot of good, positive things that can happen that can throw you off, right? You get a new job. Your time that you went to the gym now changes because the hours that you work at that job change, right? So now you can say, screw it, I can't go to the gym anymore because I got my job. Or you can move your schedule around like you're supposed to.
Or you get invited to a party. That's a good thing.
You get invited to a party. You get invited to a football season's coming up, right? The Packers. I know you're not a Packer fan, unfortunately, but the Packers.
Bear down, baby.
The Packers play though, and you get invited to a Packer game or a tailgate party or something like that, right? You can either say, well, there goes that day. Right. There goes that weekend.
Right.
You got one thing coming up and you're saying, my weekend's shot now.
Right.
No, it's not. A person of discipline knows how to do this, but you got to make sure you're looking ahead at all this stuff, right? You got to make sure that you're really clear on the bad's going to happen, the good's going to happen. You got to be prepared for life to happen.
Okay, so you got to be prepared for the crabs, which makes complete sense to me. You're going to live your life, you're going to be around other people, and you got to be prepared for that. I get that. And now you're saying, well, not only you got to be prepared for the other people, you got to be prepared for life to actually happen, because throughout your day, it's Monday, you might have some big good things happen today, you might have some big bad things, but you're for certain going to have some little good things and some little bad things happen today. And no matter what, if you're going to accomplish your goals, if you're going to transform, you have to be able to stay on the path no matter what happens, right?
Yeah. And the thing is that you can't let your ego get in the way of this stuff either, right? You can have tons of self-confidence about things like, I can get through this, and you cannot let your ego get in your way though and say, I got nothing to worry about. 3 things in this world that are undefeated: math, Mother Nature, and Father Time. Well, when Mother Nature and Father Time come for you with weather or things that are related to aging, you cannot.
Right.
There's, in that situation, when that thing comes for you, there's nothing that you can do about it, but understand that you need to make an adjustment to handle it.
Yeah.
So you can't let your ego get in the way and say, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff. And the third thing, the third reason why discipline is so important and why we're doing it right now is anything worth doing is going to be hard. You're going to have challenges. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to have hurdles thrown in your way. You're going to get invited to parties. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. It's going to be hard. I'm telling you, change, if you look at change, if you search that on the internet, I can guarantee you that Google doesn't pop it up and say, change is really easy, good luck. I'm going to guess that Siri's not in the background saying, hey, change is coming, it's going to be fun. I'm going to guess that's not happening.
Right.
I'm going to guess that's not happening. Change is hard.
Yeah.
Change is hard. But I tell you what, anything worth doing requires change, and anything worth doing is going to be hard.
Yeah.
If it wasn't hard, it would be easy, and everyone would do it then.
And you wouldn't care about
Nobody would care.
it. Yeah.
So the third point is, you got to make sure to understand that anything worth doing, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
So, you've worked with a lot of discipline, people, you said?
Yeah, absolutely. And I said that to make the point of you.
Yeah, my fault.
No. It was because I've worked with a lot of people. I was actually propping you up because I've worked with a lot of professional athletes. I've worked with different and learned from different athletes and speakers and authors and worked with big level CEOs. I've learned and watched and worked with very highly disciplined people. And what I was trying to say is that you stand in that group. And so it was a compliment. I just kind of...
You got to backhand me a few times. But no, you've worked with a lot of people though throughout the years. We both have, but I mean, you've worked with a ton of them. So, how do they do it? What do they look like?
Yeah, I think discipline is one of those things where you really can take a look at what other people, what high level disciplined people do, and then basically create your plan for creating discipline from there. And the first thing, first thing that I would say is that they make a lot of decisions. Mm-hmm. And, well, how does that build discipline? Well, how does doing a lot of pull-ups make it easier to do pull-ups? Well, because you're building the muscles that are required to do pull-ups. Right. Well, when you make a lot of decisions, because a decision is what discipline is. You're making a decision and follow through with it. Well, that's what these people do. They don't basically just let their life unfold. They plan out their day. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this, and then they stick to it. Because every chance they get a chance to stick to it, every chance they get, or every opportunity they get to do what they said they were going to do, their discipline builds a little bit, and their discipline builds a little bit. So they don't miss that. Like, when you watch disciplined people work out, they don't go to the gym without a plan. They go to the gym, they can tell you, for this set, I'm going to do this many reps. Not, I'm going to go until it hurts, because then they never had to meet what they said they would do. Well, this set's going to be 8 reps. And when they get to 7 and they don't feel like they can do anymore, they make sure they get help, they make sure they have a spotter, they make sure they drop the weight and they do their last one, because they said they were going to get to 8. Because they realize that every single opportunity of making a decision and then follow through on that decision is one more opportunity to build discipline. And I think we miss that so often, that the average person forgets that. Whether it's an author, I'm going to write this many pages today. Instead of saying, I'm going to work on my book today, no. Don't miss the opportunity to gain some discipline by saying, I'm going to write this many pages today, and then hit that number. Right? Because you're going to do the same thing. It's just one gives you a chance to build it and the other doesn't. right? Hey, I'm going to be here at this time. Okay, then say the time and then be there. Don't just say, don't give some ballpark because you're giving yourself an out and you're not able to build discipline. I'm telling you, these people that are very disciplined, they didn't get there on accident because you're not born disciplined. I'll tell you that right now. You come out of the womb. No one's coming out of the womb born disciplined. You're coming out of the womb the same way as we all are. Naked and unfamiliar with this world. You want to build discipline, you start attacking it, you start purposely making decisions, and every single day building that muscle, and discipline will happen.
Yeah, and you look at, we've helped a pile of people build discipline throughout the years, and one of the things that we start with all of them is their schedule, right?
Yeah.
I've seen your schedule probably a million times. Every single adjustment, right? Every single week you have a new schedule that you have out there to make sure you know exactly what you're going to get accomplished. And when you think about some of the different things that you have in your schedule, like the mental training time, or your reading time, or different things like that. Or your workout time even though we work out every single day, it's still in the schedule, right? It's earned a spot in your schedule. How difficult would it be, and how difficult would it be to get to be the person that you are without having that?
It would never happen. I would never be able to do, and having a schedule and being able to be disciplined to stick to it. And yeah, you gotta have some flexibility, right? You gotta have some flexibility, otherwise you'll never make it. But you gotta have some flexibility in certain things, and there's gonna be other things that are untouchable. But I wouldn't. I would be nothing without it.
And when a person that is disciplined says they would be nothing without it and you should do that, you know what you should probably do?
Do that. All right, so number 2, the second thing that they do, and this is really, really important, they value promises to themselves. And I want to say that again. They value their word to themselves. So you think about it, Luke. Who do you trust? You were to say, people that I trust, what people that you trust, who are they? What do they do? Like, what are they? People that do what they said they would do? Mm-hmm. People that if they say they're going to do something, they do it? Mm-hmm. People that are, if they tell you they're going to be somewhere, that they are there, right?
And they're going to hold me accountable to what I say I'm going to do.
Absolutely, right? So you trust people that keep their word, right? One of the biggest problems I see with undisciplined people is they act like their word to themselves means nothing.
Right.
And the problem with that is we talk about the RAS all the time, and we talk about how in your brain, this reticular activating system is always watching, is always checking and making you see what you say is important. Well, if you make promises to yourself that you don't keep, your brain knows you're a liar, and it will never trust you. So when they make promises to themselves, they actually keep them. So therefore, it makes it easier to stay disciplined because they now know, hey, I don't lie to myself. So if I said I'm going to be here, I'm going to be here. They don't downplay it. And that's a big, big deal. Really big deal. And we do this all the time. We value our word to other people. Oh, I'm a man of my word. I'm a woman of my word. And we value our word to other people. But when it comes to ourselves, we don't value it. And quite frankly, it's bullshit. If we can start doing that, we can completely change the amount of discipline we have. So that would be number 2. Okay? Number 3, they set big goals. Disciplined people set big goals. Well, what the hell does that have to do with discipline? Well, simple. It's another way of saying what you said of why discipline is so important, where you said nothing worth having is going to be easy. Well, if you set small goals, real small goals, you have a ton of wiggle room. Hey, I want to shoot a podcast today, sometime today. We got all damn day. So you could, I was going to shoot it in the morning, but I didn't really feel like it. I was going to shoot it in the afternoon, but I didn't really feel like it. And I'll shoot it at night. You have all this wiggle room. The bigger your goals, the less wiggle room you have, which means the more disciplined you're going to have to be. If you want to create discipline, stop setting little small bullshit goals. Right? Stop setting those little small goals because they're going to give you too much wiggle room. They're going to allow you too much leeway, and you're never going to build the discipline, right? And then the 4th reason is these people know their reasons why. So if you want to become someone that's disciplined, if you want to make discipline easier to do, then know why the hell you're doing what you're doing in the first place. Because when your why is strong enough, it's so much easier to actually do what you said you would do. But when you're doing something for other people, like when your reasons are to make you look good for someone else, or it's not something that's important to you, then it's going to be hard. Mm-hmm. And what these people do, what really disciplined people do, is not only do they have a really, really strong why for doing what they said they were going to do, like they don't just say, today, I'm going to do this, that, or the other thing. They when they make their schedule for the day, it's the important things get put in there, and they know exactly why they're doing what they're supposed to do. And then they have a constant reminder of that. Mm-hmm. So they have their why in front of them at all time, whether that's vision boards or whether that's their schedule or whatever it is. They know exactly why they're doing things. And when you have a strong why, it makes it easier to stick to what you said. So those are the 4 big ones. Make a lot of decisions, value your promises to yourself, set big goals, and always know and have a real reason why. Know what it is and keep it front and center. Okay? Now, those are the things I've seen from others, but I know your favorite one wasn't even on that list. Right. So what about for you, what's your favorite way to build discipline?
Yeah, well, I see.
Or the thing that people have.
Yeah, I see the people that I respect that have a ton of discipline. They understand the concept and they use neutral thinking. And this book or this concept really comes from a book that we both read, and it's honestly one of my favorite books. It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Moawad. And if you haven't picked up that book yet, man, you got to read that book, and you got to see what Trevor's all about. Unfortunately, he passed away
last year,
a year and a half ago, something like that. But the guy was brilliant when it came to thinking and all the aspects around it. And his dad was a motivational speaker and speaked on positivity. And Trevor took what he learned from his dad and broke that down into neutral thinking and understand how to see things for what they are, right? So when you see things that happen, there's no positive, there's no negative, there's just a situation, and it's up to you on how you respond to it and how you take that situation in, right? And those people that are able to use neutral thinking and see situations for what they are, and not react to them, they're able to make clear decisions, clear adjustments off of what they're doing every single day to make sure they can always keep progress, right? To make sure, I'll say this a million times as we go through this podcast, progress equals happiness, but, for them to be able to make progress, they have to see situations for exactly what they are and keep moving forward. So, for instance, you get invited to one of those parties and, you get there and all they have to drink is alcohol, right? Well, it is what it is. Now you need to make the best out of it. You need to find an alternate, or you need to not drink anything at all, right? Mm-hmm. Or you get somewhere and, you find out that you're going out to eat and you got to go for a business dinner or for your significant other, whatever it is. You see the situation for what it is and say, okay, well, I have to go. So now what do I do? And you research the menu ahead of time, right? And you find exactly what you're gonna eat and what you're gonna consume. And you do that with everything that happens in your life, the good, the bad, all that stuff. When it happens, you have to look at it and you have to see the situation for exactly what it is so you can make clear, conscious decisions on what you're gonna do as far as adjustments moving forward. So those people that have a ton of discipline, they're able to look at a situation and see the situation for what it is so they can make a clear, concise, rational decision on what they're going to do next.
Yeah, I think, and it goes back to you said, the good and the bad happen, and that's why you got to be disciplined. Well, I think when the good and the bad happen, like I think what you're saying is just look at it for what it is. You got invited, you got that flat tire. It's not bigger than a flat tire, but it's not smaller than a flat tire. Yes, it takes some of your time, but that doesn't mean you can't work out. That doesn't mean you can't eat good today. It just means that you got a flat tire, and that's all that it means.
Right.
So I think your parent knows the other, and I love that. I absolutely love that. It's good.
All right. Now it's time for that segment.
Flip the switch.
Flip the switch segment. So, what you're gonna do today? So, in the flip the switch segment, what you're gonna do today? First thing you're gonna do is you're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on how disciplined you are, right? And you're gonna see some funky numbers that come up, and then I want you to pick the areas that you really want to become disciplined, right? And you can't, and I'm gonna say this as nicely as possible, you can't choose them all. you can't choose every single area to become extremely disciplined in right away. You have to pick a couple areas, and you have to get really good at building discipline in those areas for the time being. So once you pick those areas, though, you have to get clear in those areas exactly where you're at. So, you know, let's say one of those areas is with your nutrition and how well you're staying true to your eating window. Let's say that's one of them, and you rate yourself and you pick a number in there, and then you're gonna say, okay, so here's how disciplined I want to become, right? So here's the number that I want to become, and now you need to connect these two dots. So what's it gonna take to get you from this dot to this dot in the fastest time possible, right? So how are you gonna connect those two dots? And that's where the next 72 hours comes into play. So you take that spot, right? You take that area that you want to improve in, and every single morning you're going to create a list of 3 things, right? And you can refer to this as a hit list if you like. And every single morning you're going to create this list of 3 things, right? And these are the 3 things that when you accomplish these 3 things, and they're going to be tough. When you accomplish these 3 things, though, they are going to make you more disciplined and get you closer to your goal when you do these 3 things. So write those down every single morning, and no matter what it takes for you to do those 3 things, you do those 3 things every single day for the next 72 hours.
72-hour challenge.
72 hours.
All I got to do is complete. I wake up in the morning, I write my 3 most important things that I have to get done today, and I accomplish those 3. And I do that for 3 straight days. 72-hour challenge.
72 hours.
It's been issued.
It has been issued.
I love it.
The gauntlet has been thrown out.
I love it.
So, you got the challenge on. Let's wrap this baby up. So, episode 3. Episode 3 was all about one of the foundational pieces, and that's all about becoming a person of discipline. And, you know, that person of discipline is, you know, you explained it well with that Yankee quote, right? You know, being the person you said you were going to be long after the feeling you said it in is gone, right? The time you said it when you were ultra motivated, and all of a sudden it's a day later, not ultra motivated, but you still follow through with it. That is a person of discipline, right? And you have to be that person. You have to become that person, especially in the key areas in your life, because you got all those things working against you that I talked about. You got all the people around you. I call them bucket of crabs. You don't have to refer to them as crabs if you don't want to, but really what they are. You got all the people around you, though. You've got life. Good and bad things are going to happen to you. So you have all that, and you have the understanding that whatever you're going to do, it's going to be hard. Anything worth doing is going to be hard. It requires change, and change is hard. It's going to be hard. You have to be a person of discipline if you want to follow through with that. And understanding the people who have this, right, make a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decisions that you have to make, right? They value whatever they say they're going to do. You know, I'll be honest. I don't really care what people think about me. I really don't. But I really care about what I think about myself. I really care about that. And I really don't care if people think that I did what I said I was going to. I care to myself if I'm going to get done what I said I was going to get done. Because it's like that book by Edgar Allan Poe, and all of a sudden that heartbeat is just coming from the floor somewhere, and they don't know where it's coming from, but they know it's there because you know you didn't do it. Mm-hmm. And that's why people that are disciplined people, they tell themselves they're going to do a lot of those things, and they value what they say, and they go get it done, right? They value those things. They have huge goals. Mm-hmm. They have small goals also, but they have huge goals that's in front of them that prevents them from going back on their word. It prevents them from procrastination. It prevents them from doing a lot of different things that are going to throw them off, right? So they have huge goals. They understand how to keep their why front and center at all times. Their why is so powerful that they will hop out of bed before an alarm clock ever goes off. Guarantee you that. Their why is so important that the items that they have in their schedule every single day, they won't give up on them because they know those things are pushing them closer to their why. And their why is too important to give up on. So you got to find your why is one thing that I'll leave you when it comes to that. And then those people that have a lot of discipline, they understand what neutral thinking is all about. They understand how to see situations for what they are and just understand that a thing is a thing, right? A situation is a situation. It's how you respond to it that's important. It's how you make adjustments that's important. That's what neutral thinking is all about. And, you know, as far as I'm concerned, those items right there, if you can master those items, you can become a person of discipline in a hurry. And that's where that flip the switch challenge came in, right? That's where that segment came in, because you got to get clear. You got to rate yourself on how disciplined you are. But that 72-hour challenge of, I'm going to take these 3 things, I'm going to lay them out every single morning, and then I'm going to go attack them every single morning. Those 3 things on that hit list, I tell you what, that 72-hour challenge, you flip that switch on that 72-hour challenge, then you understand that you do that every single day, and you become a new human being. That is going to separate you from who you are right now to become the person that you want to be, right? That's that gap. That action right there, that's that gap between your goals and reality, right? That is that action right there, that 72-hour challenge. So, that was a lot. That was a lot today.
It was.
It was. I tell you what, when we take a concept like this, especially foundational concept, it is so fun talking about it. And it is so fun, like, just getting the word out there about the things that are possible, right? And it's a belief that we have. And, you know, as always with our podcast, and I talked about it before we started, right? Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, watch us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, tell everybody about it, right? Direct them over to Facebook. You know, you talk about, you know, big goals and things like that. And, you know, us wanting to, first of all, help 1 million people and then go beyond there. You know, we didn't start off and say, man, we really want to help 150 people. That is not a conversation we had. So subscribe, follow us, share the word. And again, if you took anything out of this podcast, if there's anything that you took away from this podcast, tell people about it. Tag a friend if you're on Facebook right now. Tag a friend if you're on Spotify right now. Tag a friend. Go follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. There's a ton of other content that we put out there that all it's going to do is it's going to help your mind. It's going to help your body. If you just can't wait for these Monday podcasts, well, go follow us on social media and other areas. And I promise you there's lots of content there that's going to help you, and it's going to help you get from one podcast to the next podcast. And again, if you're looking to make a change in your own life with how you're feeling physically, mentally, whatever it is, I'm telling you what, Switch Fitness, go get on that 6-week switch, because that thing can transform your life. But as always, tag a friend, share this podcast, go inspire the world, one person a day. Go help them change themselves too. As always, go work. Even though I'm hating on my faults. Appreciate y'all.